No, you're not being unreasonable, and no, you're not being too harsh. As you were doing that, I got a couple of links and some supporting documents that people can see. So I think the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, when somebody has their opinion like that, what you need to do is to make sure, first of all, that they're not a mouthpiece of the deep state, hearing news from somewhere that really outrages them and forces them to go out into social media to get it off their chest. And I can tell you, folks, that Ed's not a mouthpiece of the deep state, because I'll show you exactly what he's talking about and I'll verify it for you in less than like 3 clicks of my mouse. And from there as well, what you've got to do is you've got to look at what you can do to protect yourself. So yesterday, Ed, we talked about Whitney Webb on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, Valuetainment, and she said the way to protect yourself from that is to maintain your personal sovereignty. So it's what you said: reduce your exposure to the banks, get some gold and silver, and create some passive income, and stop looking to one person to solve all of those problems. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump's in power. It doesn't matter if Ron DeSantis is in power or Joe Biden's in power. They're all the same side they're both sides of the same coin, is the way you would kind of describe that. And it's all just a big giant cartel. The whole thing is a cartel. No government is going to save you from yourself there. Tell me, Ed, did you have to write anything there, or did you just kind of speak?
No,
it seemed like the most natural thing in the world for you.
No, I just spoke. I edited some of the, look, this is like a 45-minute rant. So where you saw that, so I edited that, but no, that's all me. That's, but look, I do spend a lot of time covering these topics. So every one of the little topics that I just touched on briefly, I've done deep dives into every one of those topics individually. So I'm not just making this stuff up, guys. It's not just a feeling that I have that things are going wrong. I've looked at all these issues, and my concern is that too many people out there are too busy living their lives. They go to work and they're not really paying attention. And one day this summer, they're going to wake up to find their application for their own little CBDC card, and they're going to say, "What the hell is a CBDC card?"
Well, we have that digital ID here in Australia. If you own a proprietary limited company or your equivalent of an LLC, you must have the digital ID. And then all of the government systems and processes are now deployed into your MyGov app. So that's your tax records, that's your medical records, that's everything to do with you, your passport, all of that stuff is in one place. Yeah. We already have digital IDs and the sophistication rolled out here in Australia.
Yeah, so you guys have had your rude awakening. Ours is coming up. Ours in America, it's coming up soon. Most people are still unaware of this stuff.
And I have no idea that's coming.
They have no idea what's coming down the road. It's going to be, that's why, you and I are trying our best to alert people about what's coming up and the consequences of what they are. Encourage people to start taking steps to do whatever you can to look. I don't think it's going to be possible to avoid these issues completely. It's probably going to be unavoidable. When the only form of currency is the CBDC, it's going to be hard to live your life without having to, it's going to be kind of unavoidable.
You'll have to comply. You've got no choice if you want to eat and continue to drive your car and go to work. You have to comply. There's no choice.
Right. But you can minimize it. You can't accept to minimize it. And that's what, so that's why I keep saying, do the best you can to attain a modicum. That's why I chose that word, modicum, because I don't think it's going to be extremely difficult for you to be completely free anymore. The only way to be free is to move into the backwoods and build a still and, learn how to
live off jungle juice.
Yeah, that's it. That's about it. And hope that no government census guy shows up in the woods to find it.
To make sure you've got your CBDCs.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. I'll just pop you out of the stream there. Let me share my screen, and I'm going to show people some supporting documents that marry up to what we're talking about. So I want you folks to head over to Twitter, and I want you to follow Michael Yon, and I'll put the link. So it's just Michael_Yon for his Twitter. I'll put the link to it down below in the show notes after I finish this. I can't amend the show notes as we're doing it. But here is what you were talking about, Ed. You would have seen, you probably saw the Redacted report yesterday with Clayton and Natalie Morris, and this guy was on that show. I'll put the link to that as well. So Michael Yon is he's been a war correspondent for the last 30 years, and he spent a whole bunch of time down at the border, and he's recorded this. So this is not to pick on the Chinese, but this is you can see the video just playing here down below. You can tell these folks are from South America, but watch this Chinese family here in the middle.
Look at that. Class acts, right? It's classy. And
look at her she's wearing a nice jacket, nice pair of pants, got a handbag. Nobody's got a backpack. And look at this guy looking him up and down.
Yeah.
Look at this dude.
Yeah.
Get to the back of the queue. There's their mates. You know,
and
he's got a Gore-Tex jacket there.
That woman in pink does not want to touch anybody.
Yeah, she's like, what do you want me to do? And so in that interview yesterday, Michael Yones says that these people don't have to pay to walk across South America. And this is the path. This is what I was looking for. This is the migration path that people take. They come this way like this to there. But anybody in the world can fly to Ecuador and catch a bus to this place in Colombia. From there, take a motorboat to this place in Colombia. Then they begin the extremely difficult and dangerous trek through the Darien Gap to where they can catch a bus to Costa Rica. So the Darien Gap is this place here where he's talking about here. And this is scrub. It's jungle. It's 3 canopy jungle. And yesterday on the Redacted report, Michael was talking about how there's nowhere really for people to sleep in the jungle as they're making their trek across there. So they sleep near the rivers. But you have a lot of flash flooding in a jungle, and flash flooding happened. And look, 160 people have died over the last few days. And the other people that are coming through are just stepping over these bodies as they go through. So I really encourage you to have a look at Michael's Twitter account. And if you look at this post here, so I'm showing you this map here, and you'll be able to scroll in his feed for a couple of mouse wheels. But if you look here, it says Biden/Democrat pre-rape kits. Let me just say that again. Pre-rape kits are handed out to women and children in Colombia before entering the Darien Gap into Panama. US taxpayer-funded rape and killed by man, beast, mountains, mud, flash floods. About 160 have died over the last few days. And that's from May 17, and today is May 20, or May 19 there in the United States. This is like from 2 days ago. And this is the kit, pre-rape kit, handed over to women, children, aliens by US taxpayer money for safer rape in the jungles and deserts. Please share if you care to stop the rapes. So this is what they get.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling the girls, be expected to be raped.
Are you serious, man? Like, it's unbelievable. Make sure, folks, you go and have a look in the show notes after the show is finished, and have a look at or just head over to the Redacted channel right now. I should find the link for that, and I'll put it on the screen. But head over to Redacted and watch the interview with Michael, because he shows this to you, and just hearing his explanation is amazing. But if you just scroll to the top of his Twitter, he shows you what's going on. Look, you know, American Animal Farm. Look, the cartel shining lasers at him here. Over here, yesterday on that interview, he was talking about these prepaid Visa debit cards that are handed out to these immigrants that are coming across the border. So if you think that this is not an organized event, who has hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars of these cards to hand out to these people as they're coming in to the United States illegally? And if you look at the wall and what they're doing there, just walking straight through, it's just, if you just scroll through here, this is like unbelievable. This is how the treason invasion of America is being run by our traitor government secretly at night under the cover of darkness. That's what's going on. And he shows yesterday in his report, the buses turn up. So here where my mouse is, you know, waiting invasion Tuba C buses. So keep an eye out for the new white Bluebird DHS invasion buses. So these buses are turning up, but the exact number of people are waiting to get on the bus. So they're lining them up with the right number of people to get on the bus to ship them into the United States to actually make that happen. The unspoken truth behind it is this is the people. Yeah, I want a better life for these people, whoever they are. I want them to escape socialism. I want life to be better for them. And I don't actually blame them for actually trying to come across the border to do something like that. And it is really, really terrible that it can't be maintained. I want to show you a little video that is from a couple of years ago from the Prime Minister maybe the greatest Prime Minister Australia has ever had, arguably. He's pretty annoying, but he was a good manager of the economy and he did pretty well. This is him going for re-election back in the day in, where is it, in 2001. So just have a listen to what he says about the difference between the Australian policy and the American policy. And this policy is still in place today, or it was under the Liberal government. But believe it or not, the person that took over the immigration portfolio after the Liberal government was ousted, I think it was in 2007 by the Labor Party, was the immigration minister. Drum roll, where's the drum roll sound? The immigration minister was Chris Bowen. And under Chris Bowen being the immigration minister, he was the most incompetent immigration minister in Australian history. In fact, he's been the most incompetent minister in Australian history in every government portfolio he's ever been part of, or any shadow ministry he's ever been part of. And more than 2,000 people died with boats coming to Australia under his watch. He's responsible for them.